exciting guest with me. This is an attorney, Jason Rammel. He is located in Faithville in Spring Branch, if you're familiar with the local area. And so I have asked him to meet with me today to talk about probate and wills, all the stuff we really don't want to talk about ever. And he's been gracious enough to go over some stuff with me to share with you. So first of all, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me. And you're right. A will is, people always say, I need to get my will done. Nobody wants to do it. It's morbid. I understand, but it really does need to be done.
Yeah, for sure. So, let's first talk about, do I need a will? Is there anyone who does not need a will?
Everybody needs a will.
Okay.
If you own anything or have a family, you need a will.
Okay.
Because the will is going to make sure that your property goes where you want it to go, and you can also address, if you have kids, who's going to take care of them and how.
Okay. All right. So I think another popular question that everyone will want to know is, there's so many services online and packets of buying a DIY will or a kit, even at Office Depot or whatever. So it sounds like you've got comments on that by your facial expression.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do a DIY will that you find anywhere. One, they're not going to be tailored to Texas law more than likely. Every state is different.
Yeah.
And every time I've had one of those, I've run into problems that, yes, they may have saved the money on the front end, but it ended up, doubling or tripling the time and expense it took to get that estate probated.
Okay. So what if someone already has that?
If they have like a DIY will, they should call me and I'll get them a good will.
Okay, well then let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fees. I think everyone is scared to even call an attorney because we're pretty sure it's going to cost $500 just to have a conversation with you. And thankfully, for me, Jason has dispelled that myth. He's a great resource. He's always happy to answer his phone, answer questions for me and my clients, potential clients. He's really great at that, and a lot of attorneys are. But it is a scary thing because it's like this mystery of how much is this service going to cost me.
Sure, and I can tell you in my office, there's no fee for just the phone call.
Okay.
I'm happy to spend 20, 30 minutes talking to someone and saying, this is what we do, this is what these documents are, and then getting them set up so we can start working together. Because I know there's a lot of questions. This is probably the topic that I get the most questions on. And then we can talk about, okay, do you just want a will? Do you need other things? For example, my package is a will, statutory power of attorney, medical power of attorney, directive to physician, and then the HIPAA release. And
wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of great documents.
So
I wouldn't have thought of putting all those in with a will.
Yeah, so it's 5 documents per person. For a couple, you're looking at 10 documents, and for us, our fee is $900 for the whole thing. That's beginning to end. And I do offer any referrals, any folks that you would refer to me, I would offer them a discount down to $750.
Do y'all hear that? We got the hookup. So drop my name and he's going to give my people a discount. So I appreciate that. That's very helpful. And that's really not as pricey as what I would have thought it would be. So, yes, obviously it's a chunk of change, and, you don't want to spend it on something you don't even want to be doing, but in the long run, it's probably the better, more cost-efficient way to do it, it sounds like.
Yeah, it really is, because if you don't have a will, then state law is going to determine who gets your property, and the process for probating a will. I try to do it in about 60 days, beginning to end. It runs about $1,500, $2,000 depending. Keeping in mind about 5 of that is just fees. Recording and courthouse fees, publication fees. But if you're doing without a will, it's called intestate. It takes about twice as long, hopefully only twice as long, and it's going to cost hopefully twice as much. It could be much more. It just depends on how complicated things are. But with a will, if you have a will, the court knows what it is. It's very simple and straightforward. It could get done very quickly. Without a will, there's a lot of fact finding that has to be done. It takes time, it takes money.
Making sure there's no extra relatives hiding out somewhere.
Exactly.
Pop up later.
No black sheep out there somewhere, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the probate process.
So the probate process it's how you prove who owns the deceased property.
Okay.
So under Texas law, there's no, for like real estate, there's no transfer of title of real estate until either the will's admitted to probate or you go through the intestate process. So the probate process is an application. You submit some basic information to the court for will, prove who owns it, and you're not going to be able to get good title, no title insurance, no loan until you do that.
Yes, I've had a few deals where we kind of get stuck on that. Which, if someone approaches me originally and says, I'm ready to sell this, someone passed away, we need the funds from this, then, I'll go through some questions with you to try to see if we're ready to go or if we need to get somewhere work done first. And, so I'll walk you through that process if I'm the first point of contact for you. So, you said through probate, it's usually about 60 days, and you said the range of costs could be up to like $2,000?
Yeah, it just depends on, one, how complicated is it? And then two, different filing fee. The filing fees, how many notices you have to publish. Sometimes you have to publish two. It just depends. If you have to track anybody down. So there's a little bit of variation, but that's usually about the range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is all hopefully enlightening to y'all. I'm definitely learning a lot, and especially I would have never guessed about the having the power of attorney and the HIPAA and the stuff like that you said that you include in your will packages. Especially right now in the time of COVID, a lot of seemingly young, healthy people, are encountering this situation that weren't expecting it. And in reality, any of us at any point could have to encounter this with a relative or family member. So, if someone finds a will, the parents' house are cleaning out, the parents have passed away, and they find the will, nothing has been done or settled with it. What is their first step whenever they find that?
So, the first step is you really do need to get that will admitted to probate as soon as you can, because after 4 years, that will is basically invalid.
Okay.
So you're going to have to go, I can tell you from a title company perspective, from a lender's perspective, they're going to treat that person as if they died without a will.
Okay.
So it can cause problems of who's supposed to get what and who has to sign off on everything. So what they would do is, bring that will into my office, and then we talk about, okay, we're just going to file, just get the information of everybody, and then we'll file it at the courthouse. It's all done electronically, so it's fairly quick. And then it's just a matter of waiting for, there's about 30 days, we have to wait for notice and things like that and to get set up for the hearing. And then you have the hearing, you get your orders, and you're basically ready to go. So if you need to sell the property, you can. If you need to give it to someone, you can. And that's the main thing you really want, is to get that property ready, is get that order and the letters from the court.
Very good. Well, thank you for all the information that you shared today. I would like you to share, you do wills and stuff like that, but you do a lot of other stuff as well. Will you share the other services you offer?
Sure. So in terms of, services, one thing, I do represent a lot of cities and local governments. That's a big part of my business. And
that's how you started your business, right?
Right. Yeah, I worked for the city attorney in Round Rock for 8 years. I'm now the city attorney in Bulverde. I've been lucky to be in that position since 2017. But because I'm a private attorney, I still take on a lot of clients. I do a lot of estate planning and probate. I also do a lot of real estate transactional work. And then I also do a lot of corporate, LLC formation and things like that. And really, I do those practice areas because they all tie into real estate. Because if you've ever done any kind of commercial or an investment property,
yes,
you need to make sure the LLC is set up right and those kinds of things.
That's probably another video we could do for up and coming investors who are trying to figure out how to set everything up and what comes into play. Anyway, so yeah. Sorry, squirrel.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, we definitely had talked about doing some other videos, but that's definitely what I would like to do. So we can kind of cover some of that stuff. But in the meantime, if you've got other questions, obviously I'm a great point of contact for you. And if I can't answer your questions, I'll get you going where you need to go. But especially on stuff like this, you can contact Jason directly and he can get you set up or answer questions or be helpful. I'm thankful to have him in our area. He's definitely a wealth of knowledge and experience and very giving of his time. And you can't say that about very many attorneys. That he really is, our local resource attorney for a lot of things related to anything legal. So, navigating through all that legal jargon to figure out, okay, what does this mean? So, Anyway, thanks again, and I look forward to meeting with you again so we can do another video.
Thank you, Melody. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
They kind of give them some leeway, but you still have to follow all the same rules that a lawyer would.
Yeah.
So
Ignore the phone.
I thought I turned that off. We're saying this is the executor, and these are who all the heirs are. My assistant just walked in.